And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Wade Manor Show and Tell. But first and foremost, shout out to Mama's Boy Apparel. That's our personal merchandiser for Wade Manor. Mama's Boy does all the banger jobs of the t-shirts and so on and so forth. This particular one, Wade Manor House of the Psychic Nosebleed. Yes, that was inspired by an incident that happened a couple weeks ago in the house. There was a tour group in, and two of the girls had a simultaneous nosebleed. They both suffered simultaneous nosebleeds in the same room. Came running downstairs, quite disconcerting. And although no one got hurt, as they say in the wrestling world, they did a little bit of color. There was a little bit of color. So, hard to explain how two people would have simultaneous nosebleeds in the same room. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. Anyways, yes, again, shout out to Mama's Boy Apparel. This shirt is available in sizes small to XX. All you can do is message me and I'll make it happen for you if you're interested. So, on that note, what we got going on today. I had a tour group in a little while back and they were kind of fascinated by a painting they saw in the dining room. They asked if I could do a little kind of a quasi deep dive into it and explain it. So we're going to do that. It's a one of, so here it is. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. It is the Victorian wake. I'll just slide it so you can kind of get the full. It is absolutely one of my favorite pieces. So I'm going to explain it to you. Some people had some questions, so I'm just going to bang with the questions here. As you can see, the deceased is being waked in a home, in a Victorian home. Typically, you were waked in your home. If there was no funeral home within, horse-drawn carriage distance, then you were typically waked in your own home. And in Wade Manor, you probably would have had several of the old owners waked in this home. They would have waked right in their living room or the sitting parlor. So this is how it was done. You were waked right in your home. You'll notice the deceased is laying in a coffin as opposed to a casket. Casket is a modern invention. The coffin were typically called toe pincher coffins based on the shape of them because they were really narrow and the lid came off completely, which made it easier for viewing. So this particular deceased is laying in a toe pincher coffin. You'll notice that her jaw is tied. And typically that was normal back then. Modern days, I believe we still wire them, but back then they didn't want the mouth popping open. So a piece of cloth tied to the head would close the jaw and keep it closed. You'll see all sorts of ghosts lurking around the house as well. And I'll point out some things. You'll see here a cloth over a mirror, and you'll see one down there as well. So you have black shrouds over mirrors. Now, the thing about that particular practice, it crossed many, many cultures. It was done for many reasons. One culture I read where they did it, basically mirrors were covered because they wanted to eliminate any sense of vanity at the wake. They wanted to put all the attention on the deceased themselves. Another culture said it was purely for judgment reasons. You didn't want you look in the mirror and judge yourself and how you treated the deceased in their life, so there was that as well. And then there's the most common one. There's the theory that, of course it's a funeral, so there's a lot of negative emotion, there's a lot of negative energy, there's wailing, there's crying, there's mourning, and that negative spirits are attracted to loss. It's attracted to those energies. So typically, where would you find that? At a funeral. So these negative spirits, these negative energies, you wouldn't be able to see them with your naked eye, but you could see them in a mirror. So that was another reason they covered up the mirrors. So they covered mirrors for reasons of vanity, they covered mirrors for reasons of shame, and then they covered mirrors because mirrors acted, much like in scrying, as a portal for bad spirits. So you couldn't see them with your naked eye, but if you walked past a mirror, you might catch a glimpse of them. And you didn't want them coming into that space, which is already being bombarded with negativity, with sadness, with mourning, with regret, with sorrow, etc., etc. So yeah, that's one of my more favorite one-off paintings. And of course, she's sitting up in her, yeah, pretty fucking creepy. Pretty creepy, sitting up in her coffin, and no one else sees what's going on. And of course, there's spirits lurking. There's spirits at the top of the stairs. There's spirits at the bottom of the stairs. And yeah, so that's pretty much the explanation. That is a Victorian wake in all its grotesque glory. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, and it explains it a little more in detail for the people that were inquiring about it. If you have any ideas of anything else you want to see in the house, you want to explain at a quasi-deep dive, please let me know, and I'll make it happen for you. Anyways, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it educational. I hope it explained some things, and I'll see you in the next one.